always tell my patients, you need to respect your stress. And I think that's the best word to use because it's real. There are categories of avoidability and unavoidability, but I think we focus and put too much energy and effort into stuff that's, you know, unavoidable. And one of the analogies I tell my patients, I'm like, if you stressed out about whether it was going to rain tomorrow or be sunny, and you were stressed out, and I don't know if I'm going to go to work, and what if the roads and there's going to be traffic, I'm going to get an accident. I mean, that's a waste of time. Now, you can just say, okay, I can't control the weather. However, I can leave early to work. Maybe I can work from home. Maybe I can wear a jacket. Maybe I can wear an umbrella, use an umbrella. So I think you look at every stressful situation, and, I'm trivializing with weather, and you say, okay, what are the avoidable elements of this and the unavoidable? You respect both, but you kind of push away the unavoidable stuff because it's exactly that. It's unavoidable. And then you focus your efforts, or I have no control over this, but how can I make it a little better? So I'm trying to listen to myself and the a lot of the advice I give to others, and it's one of those things where it's easy to give advice than to follow it.
Mm.
But I struggle with that, and I think a lot of people, I think especially this past year, it's been something that weighs very heavy on people's life, but constant struggle, I will tell you.
What does it mean to you? I love this idea of respecting your stress as opposed to managing your stress. How would you differentiate between those two ideas?
Well, I think managing tends to imply that you have complete control over it, which is that you don't. So I like the idea of separating avoidable from unavoidable. You can't manage stress. I think first you need to respect it as its presence and that entity. And then I think you separate it from the unavoidable elements, like the weather, for example. I mean, a lot of things. I have a lot of patients who this past year with stock market craziness and all this stuff, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm watching the stock market and this and that. And I'm like, well, unless you have some way of controlling the stock market, and if you do, let me know, because I'd like to invest
Like
with
the,
what you do, right? But why don't you just do the best that you can with the situation? You can't control ups and downs, but manage your portfolio or whatever you do with the information that you have, just like the weather example, just like whatever it is. So I think it frustrates me a lot when people just say, well, you just got to deal with it. No, that's not helpful. I think we need to respect stress, because I think, quite honestly, it's probably what most people struggle with in their health day to day is stress management. I don't know very many people, and it's not about having money or this or that. You can have the perfect life on paper, and stress will find you in one way or another. So I think respecting it is a better way of separating the controllable from the uncontrollable, and then focusing your efforts on the stuff that you actually have a control or impact over.
mm.
What do I know? That's just what I came up with.
It sounded very convincing. Um, so let's talk a little bit about something that you're very well known for, and something that a lot of the questions from your listeners were focused on. And this is your book, The 17-Day Diet.
Right.
Couple questions on that. I mean, we could do obviously a whole show, and maybe sometime we will, on that. But why did you decide to write your book? And what are 5 tips from your book that you think are the most important for people to know?
So it all came about in alignment with a lot of the stuff that I was just talking about, which was I'd always had a lot of these kind of like interactions with patients, tips, things that I used to come up with, and I still use them to this day. I've been using them for years. Little tips and tricks to kind of, improve your health. And so I was fortunate enough through just a lot of the stuff that I was doing to come across some amazing people in the industry of entertainment and education. And it was really the motivating factor, which was, you should take some of these things that you do and, maybe offer them up in a way that people can use them. And I think it goes back to our original question, which is, or when, the original thing we were talking about, which is, being able to enlighten people and tell them your story, it may be able to, be something they can relate to. So, 5 tips. I keep it very simple. I will tell you right now, the most important thing for anybody listening out there, if you want to do something for your health right now, today, this minute, it's to start hydrating yourself. The people that walk around dehydrated in this world, I'm guilty of it sometimes as well. It's probably 80% or more. It's amazing what just water can do. Always, for people who smoke, I tell people, always be trying to quit. Never quit trying to quit. It's a bit redundant. On average, it takes people 8-9 attempts to quit before they can quit. So always be trying to go away from tobacco products, whatever they may be. I doubt we're ever going to wake up someday on the news and they're going to say, it turns out smoking 5 cigarettes a day is actually good for you. I doubt that's going to happen. And I say that because with alcohol, there's been a lot of studies where, a glass of wine a day is good for this. So I think always trying to work at quitting or avoiding tobacco products, hydrating, movement. Start somewhere. No matter what you do, anything you can do that's a little bit more is better than what you're currently doing. So always be trying to move. I think one of the really fun, easy tips that I use for people who want to start losing weight, I call it the rule of 2s. Minimize your carbs to 2 sources of carbs or 2 carbs before 2 p.m. Very basic. After 2 p.m., unlimited vegetables and protein of choice. Obviously sticking to leaner, nicer proteins, but it's about, I don't think avoiding carbs is the way to go. I think we all need carbs. It's a fuel source. You need the healthy ones. You need a proper amount, but you need them earlier in your day. So 2 carbs before 2 p.m., after 2 p.m., veggies and protein. Those are like 4 simple tips. And I think the last one is never quit trying. Always be trying, never give up, because I think there's so many examples of when we work so hard at things and just when you're about to give up, you have a breakthrough.